Hello. Good afternoon, guys.
Afternoon.
Yeah, welcome. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon. So, do we want to get started? I think we've waited for others enough.
Sorry, I think we need to. I think we need to start the class now. That my system battery can last more than an hour from here, so we can do something. At least with those who are ready now.
Yeah. So you need me to do what?
I said that please we need to start this class as soon as possible.
Yes,
I don't have light here.
we can just start.
Good afternoon, guys. So, just sorry I was not available last week due to some circumstances, and I don't know. Most of our classes might not be on Wednesdays, yeah, but in the case where I will not be having the class on Wednesday, at least I will let us know beforehand and the date the class will be scheduled to. So last week, I sent some recorded class, and I'm sure most of you guys have gone through the class again and again. So if there's anyone that have questions, I'm sure you guys already have your written questions, so you can just come up with them before we proceed with the class. So let's deal with those questions of yours. I think I only have two persons. There's two persons with us today, Evan and Haisa. Are you guys there?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
So, thank you. So let me know if you have any question from the last class. If you have any question from the last class. Anyone?
So I think somebody dropped a question in the chat box.
I'm saying that now. Okay, if I should get your, if I should understand this question, I like your question is like, can you write other code without HTML or what? I don't know. I don't really get this question. Can you ask the question? Can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Okay.
Please?
So if there's a code that doesn't require HTML, like the code is changed overall, like there's a different code, like let's say, there's a code main dot I don't know which WAEC. So we don't really know what to do at this point, like if the code is changed, because you said in the first class that the code needs to have HTML for it to run properly.
Okay. So if I should get your question right, like you mean saving the document, I mean the entire document as .html, right? So you're trying to say if you didn't save it as .html, what will happen, right? Is that your question?
I'm trying to say what will happen and if there's a different code that one can use.
Okay, like now, you being a front-end developer, you should know, and for this course, you are basically dealing with web development, you're a front-end web developer. When you say front-end developer, we have most of them, UX UI designer, they're also a front-end developer, graphic designer, also front-end developers. We have some software developers, some even Android developers, we have them as front-end developer. When you're saying front-end developer, these are people that doesn't require backend, right? They don't require backend skills. You don't need that backend skills. You understand all those integration of a thing, you don't need it. All you just need is the design. Your front-end ability is just for you to design what the customer sees. By the time you graduated from as a front-end developer and you started having, let's say for example, you want to have a multi-choice questions design. In a multi-choice question design, you have both the front-end developer and the back-end developer working on that particular program or project. As a front-end developer, all you just need to do is what the student sees or what the mentee sees or whoever that is assessing the multi-choice applications, what they see, that is what the front-end developer does. But here, back-end developer, what they do in their own case is, okay, if you choose a wrong answer, I should be able to tell you, no, this answer you pick is wrong. At the end of the questions, I can tell you, okay, out of 20 questions, you scored just 10 questions. Those activities, you can't see them, why they are being marked or when you are being graded. It's being done at the back end. All you just see is the results. Okay, you only score 10%, you only score 50. Okay, you missed this particular question, you do that. All those activities are being done at the back end. So you being a front-end developer, all you need to do is, all your focus is just mainly the front-end aspect of the design, that is the physical design. And that's why, if you remember from our introductory parts, when I was explaining about JavaScript, I said you need JavaScript activity. Okay, when I click on this, it can give me this, it can bounce, this can do that. So it still boils down to what the third party can, as in what can be seen on the screen. You understand? So, and you being a front-end developer, as a web front-end developer, you should know you're saving your document as .html, whatever name you're giving to the document, it has to be in .html in as much as it HTML document. I told us we'll be dealing with three main documents: HTML document, CSS document, and JavaScript.
Okay, sir. I also did a small front-end project.
Hello, want to say something?
I also did a small front-end development project.
Okay.
This past week. Can I show it to the class?
Yeah, that's a good one. What is it all about?
I actually just made up an idea, and it's actually the code itself. I wrote it by watching a particular video
Okay.
on YouTube. Can I show it to the class?
I think I will do that at the end of towards the end of the class. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions? I don't know. Am I able to answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all your HTML documents has to be in .html. That is how the compiler will be able to decode. Okay, this particular document I want to open is an HTML document, and that is why I liken that to your Word document, Microsoft Word document. Any document you're saving in Microsoft Word, you will see at the end of you will see the extension carries. If you're using Office 2007 upward, it carries .docx. That is the extension. If you didn't save that document with this particular extension, then Microsoft Word will not be able to open this particular document. So the same thing applicable to your HTML document. The same thing applicable to pictures. If you're having a picture, let's say for example, you're having a picture application, a picture viewer like Picasa. If your document, if that particular picture is not saved as .png, .jpeg, .jpg, then this particular software we don't know, even Windows will not know, or the operating system will not know what to open this document with. You can try that with a picture on your system. Just remove the extension of a particular picture. If you're having a picture that has maybe my piece.png, remove that .png, just leave only my picture alone. When you try to open it, your operating system will be asking you, how should I open this? It will be Windows, let me use Windows for example. Windows will ask you, should I look for what can open this particular document in Microsoft Store? Because the Windows does not know which document you are trying to access, which document you are trying to open. So an HTML document must carries the .html extension. That is the standard for file management when you're talking about file management system. So that is how it works. So any other question? Anyone with questions again before we proceed? I'm very sure the last class must have been uploaded on the learning platform. So please, I will employ you guys to find it good when you go on YouTube to watch videos. Yeah, it's good. But make sure when you are watching video, make sure you follow your syllabus. That will help you a lot. You understand? If you're watching video about JavaScript now, it's more or less like you are beating about the bush. You understand? Or you are watching video about CSS right now, or you're watching video about what's it called? Framework. To me, I see it like you're only whiling away your time. So if you're watching any external videos, make sure it's still within your curriculum. That will give you a strong foundation. Okay, you are still in HTML. All your videos, let it be limited to HTML. That will give you a strong foundation. Okay, I think I'm understanding more. Yes, I'm not expecting you guys to limit your learning to the only thing you're being told here or you're being taught here. So you need to expand your learning horizon. But don't exceed or don't go beyond where your curriculum, so that you won't. Because one thing about coding is this. Let me tell you guys something. One thing about coding is it will get tedious at a point. Like we didn't know what to do. We didn't know. Yes, you'll be watching those videos. You'll be replicating the same thing those YouTube videos said, the same thing they did in their video, but you replicate it, and yet you won't get the same results they're getting. What that's to tell you is those videos you are watching is a pre-recorded videos. They are not live videos. Yes, they are live videos, but not all. Okay, So in the absence of no questions, or do you still have any other questions? Do you still have any other question before we proceed? Okay. In the absence of no question, last week we talked about the HTML tags. Sorry. We talked about HTML tags. We talked about the HTML attributes. We talked as well. We talked about the what's it called, the core attributes. What are those major core attributes in HTML? So today I'm still going to do a quick review on those lessons, the HTML tags. Okay, let me share my screen. Share my screen. Aliza, sorry, can you grant me?
Sorry, yeah, let me do that right now. Can you try now?
All right. Still the same.
Okay, let me figure that out.
Aliza?
Sorry, I'm having a few technical issues here.
Oh,
Just give me a few minutes.
all right. Okay. Why is she trying to do that? Let me just try to broach us to some things. So last week, like I said, we talked about the HTML tags. This is what we talked about. What tags are? I talked about the HTML attributes, the core attributes.
Sorry,
this
okay, I
week,
think you can have access now.
okay.
Are you able to share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just continue straight up from this HTML tags.
Sorry. Hello. I don't think anyone can hear you. It's kind of cracking or hello. Hello. Hello, Steve, we can't hear you. Hello.
Ma, yes, ma.
Evan, please,
Oh, wait.
can you mute yourself? Evan, can you mute yourself?
Okay, somebody's mic was on, that's why. Because it was sounding robotic since.
Hello?
We can hear you better now.
Okay, I think you were saying something earlier.
Yes, I said we couldn't hear you for a while. You know, it was sounding robotic.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you guys, you've gone through the, what's it called? The HTML tags and the attributes. Now, let me just try to do to do a quick recap, I think the videos I'm playing here, just take us through a short recap of what the whole last week class was all about. Okay, so I talked about the attributes. If you look at my first element here, that is this H1 element here. This one I highlighted. I believe you can see, you guys can see, right? This is an element. Everything I highlighted there is an element. That is the header one element. Of course, the H1. But this H1 now is having some, okay, is having just an attribute. And what is the attribute? Identifier attribute. And remember, I told us that every attribute must have a value. What is the value of this attribute? What value am I giving to the header attribute? Is called header one. So where did I make use of this header one? Now, there's something we call naming convention in programming. Naming convention simply connotes the order you must follow when naming an element or naming an attribute. Say, for example, I want to name this particular header now about Google. This is actually about Google. This is what I have here. This is what the user can see about Google. Now, in my code, I want to give it, let's say I want to give it an attribute. It does not make sense naming this about operating system or about Facebook. And another thing you should know that when you are naming an attribute, you cannot start with a specific. Don't worry, next class, I already done a combination and compilation, rather, I've done a compilation of those syntax you have to follow naming an attribute. What you can start an attribute with and what you shouldn't start, what an attribute should look like and what an attribute shouldn't look like. Actually, last week I'm supposed to have released the notes, but I think we want less theory. So that is why I just want to make it all practical. But then I realized we still need a little theory to carry us along. So here, as I was saying, I have an ID with header one. The only way I can make use of this now, remember in this particular page now or document, I have one header. Okay, let me use this paragraph whereby I have 4 paragraphs. Yes, I have 4 paragraphs. You look at my code very well. The first paragraph I have here, which is my second element, which is this paragraph. Google is best known for its search engine. That's first paragraph. I have another paragraph. Google mission is to organize. I have another paragraph. The founder of Google, which contains the founder of Google, which is the third one. I have another paragraph which contains an anchor tag that will link me to Google websites. Then I have another paragraph which contains information about Google founder as well. Now, if you look all of these paragraphs, you can see I have some classes and some attributes in them with some different value. Like this first paragraph is having para and para one. That is, I'm having two classes for this first paragraph. The same thing applicable to this second paragraph. The same thing. By the time we get to CSS, you understand the importance of class attributes. And as God's willing, by Monday latest, you will have your class, your pre-recorded organized class for next week from the learning platform. So you can go through them. So when you go through them, practice everything we have there, then you come to the class next week, then we can do a raw practical together. So this para one now, this para, if I want to style all the paragraph now, I want to give them just the same style. All I just need to do is all this paragraph have para as their class name. All I will just do is just type para. All the whole paragraph, we have the same attributes. We have the same attributes. If I type only para one, it simply connotes the first paragraph will be the one that will have that particular element or what that particular attribute I'm applying to the paragraph. Take for example now, the style attribute that I made use of here, I gave it a color of red. You can see the other paragraph does not, the color still remains black. Yes, of course, because I didn't apply this style attribute to them. So this is just what we are saying about your attributes. Then when I talked about call attributes, I have class, I have identification, which is the ID, I have anchor tags, I have the input tag. These are some of the call attributes. You understand? So those are some of the call attributes. Then another thing I also talked about last week, or let me just say, I don't know, you guys said you can't hear this audio. Oh my goodness. I'm coming. And here now, you can see actually this, I have this for next class, but then I think it's also part of the previous class, but this is a bit more detailed than the previous class. You understand? So I'm only going to treat like 2 or 3 slides from here. We call it a day for today. Now, we said an element is defined by a start tag, some contents in between them, and an end tag. The element is everything from the start to the end of the tag. Now, look at the example I have here. Can you all see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can.
All right. Now, look at the example I have here. The tag name. You remember I told us that whatever we have inside the less than sign and the greater than sign, it is called tag. Whatever we have inside those things, it is called tag. So when you now have a start tag and you have an end tag and a content between them, in some cases without an end tag, in some cases without a content, you still have them as elements. And if you look at every page, just check any website and right click on any page, any website at all, right click on it, then click on source or source page. You will see it is only made up of elements. All you're going to be seeing is elements, everything is elements. That is what an HTML document is made up of. So an element is divided by the start tag, some content, and an end tag. Just as I've explained here. This A tag now is an element. This para here is an element. But now what happened here is it's called nested. This A now is nested inside of P. That is, A is a child of P elements. A is an element on its own. P is an element on its own. But now A is a child to P elements because I have my A element inside my P element. So that is called a nested element. You can see the tag I'm talking about here. Look at the P tag, look at the A tag here. Then I have my href, which is an attribute. I also have another attribute called target. I also have another attribute called title. Each of these dots, what it does now, let me just tackle these 3 attributes you have for anchor tag. href will simply connotes or simply tells you where when you see a tag simply means anchor tag, that at least an element that has been used to link a page to another page or to link a file to another file. That is what anchor tag does. So when you now see the href attribute, it simply tell you the destination of the link. Remember, a tag it links one or more pages together. So the href attribute, now the value it carries tells us the destination of the link. In this example, you can see the destination is www.google.com. Now, target is another attribute that you can use with an anchor tag. And what it does for us is to tell us how should the web browser open this link. The default one is called self. That at least the link will be open inside the same browser. Okay, I think I have internet here. Let me show you something. Let me see if I can see a page. Let me see if I can think of a page that can give me this. And then like this. Okay. Let me see if I can think of a page that can easily give me something like that. No. I don't think I have anything like that for Maryland. Okay, now if I want to open a particular link here now, crime. I want to go to this section, crime. You can see the page opens in the same tab. But now in a situation whereby, let me right click and let me put this in a new tab. I click on this particular, let me say, I click on this particular thread. You can see it opens in another browser. I don't know if you've come across this when you are browsing a particular web page and you click a particular link and the link will take you to, it will open a new Windows or a new tab. That is what the target does. How should it open that link? Should it open it in the current tab or in a new tab? So now the tab I use here, in this case, I use _blank. That is the value for the target I use here. I think in that video, this last week video, I think I already mentioned some of the value for these attributes in that last video, but I think I will do so well to cover everything for next week again, so that you can have some other example you can as well try on your own. So what this does is open this link in a new tab. So let's try that. Let's try that out to see if it is true. This is the link, right? This is the link. By the time I click on it, you can see it opens a new tab. Look at the current tab and look, this is our current page, or let me say our default page. But as soon as I click on this particular link, it's open a new tab. Now let me delete it. Let me remove these attributes, so that you can have more understanding of what I'm saying. I told us default one is it's open in the self container. Now let me open the same link. Now look at my browser. Take a look at my browser very well. Can you see the page is loading on the same tab? It's loading on the same tab. So the importance of this, sometimes maybe you want users to read a particular something. You don't want them to leave your current page. You can just use that target attribute so that the main tab will not be overlapped. So you use the target attribute to open that particular link to a new tab. And the title, I think I talked about title earlier. What the title does is it is called two tips. And what that connotes is that when you hover over a particular element or over a particular icon, it will give you some short description. I think I have a lot of that on Wikipedia. If you go to Wikipedia and look at Netherlands here, can you see when I hover over this particular icon or the forum name, you can see it says Netherlands, the Nigerian forum. That's what happened here is called title. What they did there is called title. If you check our document too, you can see I did the same thing here. Look at it. Click here to visit Google website. Look at the two tip here. Google is the world's most popular search engine. You can change it to anything you like. You can change it to the address. Okay, click here to visit. I can put the address there. That is for user to know. Okay, if you click this link, or that is where it will take you to. If you click this particular link, that is where it's going to take you to. Let me show you. Now, www.google.com. So whenever I hover over this particular element, that is what's going to tell me. Can you see www.google.com? I can leave it this way. I can leave it this way. So even a layman who has never used a PC before or used the internet before, okay, this is a link. Visit. Okay, you can see. Okay, click here to visit Google's website. Okay, then you are seeing these two tips here. Okay, definitely this should tell the person. Okay, if I should click on this link, this is where it will take me to. It will take me to google.com. That is what two tips does. It adds more details to a particular element that is being used with it. Then I talked about inputs, the input elements. Now this require attribute for an input. You won't. It's more or less useless. Why? Simply because I don't have a complete form here. If I should put a complete form here that has a submit option, then this is where you will see require the importance of the required attributes here. I don't know if you've come across some websites when you're filling a particular page. It will tell you, when you click on submit, it will tell you, no, you must enter your first name, you must enter your surname, or you must enter your email, you must enter your password. What happened there? Two things can be done. You can use HTML to validate such input box, or you use JavaScript. Mostly we use JavaScript. For advanced learner or advanced programmer, we use JavaScript. Yes, if you don't want to stress yourself writing too much of code, then you just make use of HTML. Just put required. I mean, that particular test box or input box must have something in them before you will be able to proceed to the next page or to submit that particular form to the server or to give you the next page. The type here simply connotes what type of element can I put inside here. Okay, this should tell you text. You can put any text inside here. If I should change it to date, let's experiment that. I will try to use some of the. Now, you have type button. What happened to type button? Let's see what we have here. Can you see it's changed to button type? Let me try to add an element into it. Let me just go give you that. Okay, you can just see it's changed. Actually, let's change it to another thing. I just want us to know. I just want us to see. Can you see dates? Can you see what we are having for dates now? This will allow you to select dates, most especially when you're registering for Facebook. You want to select your date of birth. You can see something like this. You want to select email. Email will still give you a text box. It will still give you a text box, but it is the validation aspect of the form. It is what will let you know, okay, you are not supposed to input. Okay, now, assuming I have a complete form now, as soon as I proceed to next box, it will tell me this is not an email. Can you see what it's saying? Please indicate an @ in the email address, that is SSD, is missing an @ so it's not seeing it as email yet. So these are validation. So I'm just trying to validate this particular input box. That what can I put inside this input box? What are those things I can put inside the input box? File. If you want to use file, that is where you can browse. Maybe you want to upload a picture on a page, or you're having a form, you want user to attach a document or their profile picture, you can see now, click on it to take me to my system to look for a particular image, select a particular image. You can see it is selected already. Grammarly desktop.x is selected. But in our case, what we need is just text. We just need a test. That is all we need. That is all we need. So those are some of the value you can have for your type attributes for an input element. Don't worry, I'm going to come up with all of this. I'll come up with all of this so that you can see them. You can use them separately. You can use them differently. Okay, this one, okay, this is how I can use this one. You can see all of those. Then I think in that class, I also talked about, let me see, sorry, I'm coming. I think I talked about okay. I think I've talked about the group. I think I've talked about that too. So let me just go back to the slide. So you can see the example I have here in the element tag. You can see I just gave us 3 types of elements you can have in a web page. I gave you the header tag. Look at this small table here. I don't know if you can see. Let me point. Let me take the tools there. Where's my tools? Okay. Where's my arrow so that you can see what I'm talking about? Okay. Now look at this particular table. Look at this particular table here. This is, I just showed us 3 types of elements you can have in a web page. You can see the last one here, the break element. It does not have content. It does not have content. It does not have end tag as well, or the closing tag as well. Just like I've told us earlier. Your element, we have a opening tag, some content and closing tag, but there are some elements that have no content, none a closing tag. Look at it. Some elements have no content, like the break element. These elements are called empty elements. Empty elements do not have an end tag. Can you see? So this is some of the example, just as I've shown us earlier. Then, nested elements. I also talked about nested elements earlier. I said elements can be nested. This means that element can obtain other elements. The example I showed to us is this particular element. I have P elements here. This P element also carry another element called A element. So this A is a nested element. That is a child of P elements. So whatever what's it called? Whatever characteristics I give to this P element, it's likely to affect my anchor tag, which is inside the P elements. So all elements document consists of nested elements, HTML element. The following example contains 4 elements: HTML, body, H1, and P. Look at this example that I have here. I believe you can see this example I have here. Then I just briefly explained it by the right side. The HTML element is the root element and it defines the whole HTML document. I believe we still have that in our left hand rather. Your HTML is the root of your anything you're going to do. We have to be inside the HTML tag. Then it has a start tag of HTML and also a closing tag of /HTML. Then inside it, you have the body element. Inside the body element, then you have some other elements. Inside your body element, then you can have numerous elements. So that all those elements inside the body, we call them childs. They are child of the body elements. By the time we get to CSS, then you get to understand more and more of this. So then I try to explain, this is just what I do. Then inside the body elements, there are two elements as per the example, of course, the H1 and the paragraph. The H1 has a starting tag and a closing tag. The same thing applicable to the paragraph tag. Then I talked about the empty elements. I gave us an example previously. Who has done that? Who has done, sorry, an assignment? Has anyone done the assignment? I've been expecting you guys to be asking me or on the group, how are you going to submit those assignments? Has anyone done the assignments? I want to know. Anyone? Hello? Do I still have my mentees there with me? Okay, Richard said no. Why? So if I may ask, why? Why no? I think we're having like 4 persons there. So only Rachel is there with us. Marvelous, you're not saying anything. Faiza, you're not saying anything. Oh, Evan is off the class already. So Rachel, why? Okay, now this one I'm going to tell you guys. Anytime you miss, what is it called? A live class, try to ask your colleague. Try to ask your colleague, okay? Try to ask them what and what was done in the class. You get my points. Please try to follow them up. This shows how serious and how committed you are. Okay, try to ask, okay, if there's any assignments, they can tell you, okay, this is the assignments that we are being given. You understand? So the assignment is in, I think I forwarded it. I think, Aliza, I think I forwarded it to the group, or were you the one I forwarded it to?
I think it's not on the group on WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp group, right? Okay.
No, it's not on the WhatsApp group.
It's not on the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Wow. That means I must have forwarded it to Aliza. Then I must have forwarded it to her. I think she's presently away. Before the end of the class, I will ask her to forward it back to the group.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So then I talked about this HTML LT elements. We have a whole lot of them. I think that's part of the assignment I gave to you. I think I asked us to mention 10 self-closing tags, and I think 20 elements that have both opening and closing tags. I think that is just what I asked for. Just a simple question you can do within a minute. You should be able to come up with the answer. And I talked about case sensitivity and HTML. Now, there's something I want us to know. There are some programming language that are case sensitive. A programming language like Java, you'll also be doing JavaScript. Towards in the course of this program, you'll be doing JavaScript. This is a language that is case sensitive, where you are supposed to put, there's a particular project I was writing some time ago, just a capital L I'm supposed to write a capital L. Then I wrote small letter L. And you know, capital letter L and small letter L, they almost look alike, even when you have multiple lines of code together. And this, I was taught in this particular code for 3 weeks, like for 3 good weeks. Like I got tired. I delete the old code, start writing again. It was, I have to invite one of my mentors back then. This code wants to kill me. Please, what is the problem? The man self could not identify. This is a small error. He could not identify. Both of us, we need to brainstorm on that code, debug for minutes before we realized, is this small letter L or capital letter L? I was like, God. Immediately I changed it to capital letter L. Boom. What I want the code to do for me, it was able to do it. So, but in HTML is not case sensitive. HTML is not case sensitive. Where you are supposed to write P in small letter, if you put P in capital letter, it will still run fine for you. It will still run fine for you. It will still run fine for you. But then the HTML standard truly does not require lowercase tag, but I told us about W3 School, W3C, which is a web consortium, is a standard for web generally. They recommend that using lowercase in HTML is the best for you to have a unique look-like document. It is recommendation. They didn't say it is the best practice. So, okay, they didn't say it is a must. So when something is called when something is recommended, that means it's the best practice. So far, they are even this W3 School, they are like the governing body. They are like the governing body of web generally. So they only recommended that it is better, it is cool when we use small letter in our HTML. You understand? So you can see, so that is that about case sensitivity. So it is not something I must, it must not, but then it is advisable you use small letter all through in your HTML. Remember, I said HTML. So let me just take us to this before we call it a day, because I think my system is almost done. My system is almost done and it must not shut down because of my bad charger. So there are 4 main elements that form the basic structure of every HTML document, which are the HTML, the head, the title, and the body. Oh, sorry, before I proceed to this, do anyone have a question? If you have any question regarding what we've talked so far. Any question?
No questions, sir. You can continue.
All right, thank you. So I'm talking about the core elements here. I said the HTML, the head, the title, and the body. These are the core elements. That does not mean they are the only elements you are going to use, but they are the major elements. You must have them in every of your HTML documents, whether you like it or not. It is just like, I remember those days when we were in schools. You don't like mathematics, those that does not like mathematics. Whether you like it or not, you must write the exam. If you like, don't attend the class, you must write the exam. So the same thing applicable here. Every of your HTML documents must have these 4 elements in them. In the doc type element inclusive. If you read what I have here, I say although the 4 main elements describe the skeleton of a document, of the HTML document, one final piece qualifies the document as a whole, that is the doc type elements, which tells the browser what rules to follow when showing the document to the users. We already talked about this. I told us earlier that currently the HTML is running on version 5. At least we are with the current version of HTML is HTML5. So what we are dealing with here is HTML5. So having that doc type elements above your HTML element itself tells the browser, I want you to render this particular document as HTML5. I want you to render this particular document as HTML5 to the browser, to the users. If you at your leisure time, just try to take your time to research about HTML3. You can just ask the skeleton for HTML3. You will see the way the skeleton of HTML3 look like. Very, very cumbersome. How will somebody be remembering? You have to write like 3 lines of code. Because that is, but now the technology is advancing every day. So all those 3 or 4 lines of code, all they just did here in HTML5, just open your doc type elements. Then the browser, the compiler, everything understand, okay, this particular HTML document is HTML5. Then start your document with the doc type, and your page will always render in the correct mode. The basic skeleton of a HTML5 page therefore look like this. You can see you have the doc type first. Then you have the head, you have the body, you have the title, then you have the body. And you have the body. Sorry, I'm trying to attend to something here. So that is how it looks like. I think I'll be hanging the pen here for today. So let me know. Okay, I think there's a question here, right? Okay, send no question. So from next week, we'll be going deeply into each of the elements, each of the call elements. I'll be talking mainly about each of the call elements. Then we'll be going into call attributes. We'll be talking about the call attributes, when to use them and how to use them. Then we'll be talking about some of the elements. Then while we are done with those, they will go fully to structuring, the full structuring of an HTML page. We do a full structuring of an HTML page. So I think I'll be hanging the pen here for today. I'm sorry, I can't wait till 2 o'clock because of my battery. My system is already drained. So before we call it a day, don't worry, your assignment is coming. I think after next class, we'll be having a multi-choice. We'll be having a multi-choice assignment, and possibly with a practical assignment. We'll be having 2 assignments next week, hopefully. God's willing, we'll be having 2 assignments next week, a multi-choice one and a practical assignment. So do not rush yourself, just take your time, read and over. I want you to understand this basic, this is the foundation. Once you have the foundation of the HTML, forget it, you're good to go. Like I told us earlier, I said, I'm not going to tutor us as a novice. The same way a pro will structure their web page, that is the same way we are going to also be structuring our own page. We'll not be structuring like a novice. Then we will not tell you when you are 3 months in the course, now you can now play. No, we will start that foundation very strong from beginning. So do not rush. You will get there. Then as you progress, you can see you also note your progress as time passes by. You also note your progress. So feel free to come to my DM if you have any question, maybe while you are trying 1 or 2 things at your leisure time, you want me to help you, or you are facing a particular challenge. Feel free to slide into my DM. my DM doesn't have a padlock, so feel free to slide into my DM. Fine, I might not reply as soon as you expected, but trust me, I will reply as soon as I can read your message. So feel free to practice some of the things we've talked about, most especially some of these attributes. Try to research about some of the attributes, make use of them. Look at their work, look at what they do, look at the way they look like, look at the way the way they function. Okay. So in the absence of no question, can we call off the class? Aliza, are you here with us? Aliza. Okay, Evan, what happened? You left the class along the line. Faiza, thank you for attending all through. Marvelous, I think you didn't start with us, but I think you're a bit stable. Rachel, thank you. I think we started together and I hear all through. Jay-Z, I don't know, maybe it's your network or whatever, or what is the problem you've been going on and off. I don't know. Is it your network or something more technical than that? Those of you that just mentioned your name, do you have anything to say? Evan, you left the class along the line. Marvelous, yes, you didn't start with us, but you still put. Richard, thank you. You started with us and you're here, you're still here. Jay-Z, you're going on and off. What's the problem? Okay. I think you guys. Okay, network issue. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, thank you, Marvelous. I appreciate having you guys around. Please, I will urge you guys to please stay with us. Okay, the previous assignment, right? Yeah, I will tell the moderator to forward it to the group. I'll ask her to forward it to the group. Then once that, okay, this is how you submit the assignments. This is how you submit the assignment. You submit the assignments. Just forward it to my DM. Just forward it to my DM once you're done. Maybe you can have it in a notepad, in a text document. Then you can forward it to me. You can forward it to me in a text format. You can forward it to me. I think after we are done with HTML, before we move to CSS, we are going to talk about what's it called? Or maybe before then we'll talk about GitHub and Git. So that will enable us to use GitHub for hosting our sites. Having whatever you're doing, you can host it live, see it live. Okay, you can send the hosting page to people to view, then to submit our assignment as well. Do you understand? So that will come when we are done with, or almost done with HTML. I just want us to have this basic foundation in HTML. I don't want us to rush this HTML at all. I don't want us to rush it. So thank you for being part of the class today. I really appreciate having you guys.
Thank you so much for that wonderful session, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, next week. That reminds me. I don't know if I'll be having the class next week Wednesday. I don't know yet, but I'll communicate with us.
Yeah, just communicate your suitable time.
Yes, I'll communicate with us. Okay, when is
Okay.
it? That's 31st of this month. I think I should be available. I should be available. So the lesson for next week should be ready. I think on Sunday, I'm free on Sunday. I'm free on
Mm.
Sunday. I think I should have my time to record it on Sunday. So by Monday, the mentees can have access to it.
Okay.
And please, I forwarded an assignment to you, Alisa, last week. Was it last week? Okay, last 2 weeks. That's during our first class. The
Yeah.
mentees said they've not seen the assignment.
Yeah. So what happened is we're trying to upload it to the LMS and then create login details for them. So we've been having technical issues to doing that. So probably it's been resolved. So we'll probably do that this weekend and give them access by next week.
Okay, okay.
But at the same time, so I think we'll just share it in the group so they can have it both ways.
Exactly.
So we'll do that.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all. You have a blissful day. Enjoy the rest of your day
Thank you.
and have a blissful weekend.
Thank you.